Turn of the century, real name Clifford F. Michaels, made his first appearance in Spider-Woman 33, published in 1980. The story, titled Yesterday's Villain, was written by DeMatteis and penciled by Steve Leialoha. In the story, Spider-Woman goes on the trail of a kooky new criminal called Turn of the Century. Century, a man obsessed with the olden days, first appeared on the scene in San Francisco, giving speeches about his views, proclaiming the modern world corrupt and amoral. The media ate it all up, and Century soon became a hero figure when he saved old ladies from muggers. However, the dark side of this odd fellow was eventually revealed when he began to attack nightclubs, bars, and other hotspots for the so-called immoral. Riding his flying tandem bicycle and wielding a flamethrower umbrella, Century made it his mission to cleanse the world of filth, including the people who practiced these filthy habits. He also attacked Chinatown, as Asian people simply didn't fit his idealistic world of yesteryear. Spider-Woman was in the end able to track Century to his hideout, a replica of an entire early 1900s town hidden underneath the manor of millionaire Morgan McNeil Hardy. Hardy is an aging inventor with a love for the old days. He spent many years trying to fight change that he saw as indecent. In the end, he gave up and settled for building this entire antique city underneath his manor. His plan was to live out his final years surrounded by what he loved. Century, or Clifford as his real name is the son of Hardy's late chauffeur. When the chauffeur passed on, Hardy took it upon himself to raise the young kid himself, and made the decision to keep the boy away from the outside world. Instead, Hardy taught him the values of the olden days, thinking this would make him into a greater man. Of course, as we all know, it didn't exactly turn out like that. Clifford took Hardy's teachings to the extreme and decided, in Hardy's honor, to destroy the modern world, so that the old one could be reborn in its ashes. Hardy himself is completely unaware of Clifford's crazed plans and has no clue what he's been up to, using his inventions to murder countless innocents. In the end, a battle between Spider-Woman and Century caused the entire fake town to go up in flames and explode. Both Hardy and Century made the decision to stay in the inferno and go down with the ship, as it were. Despite burning to ashes, Century somehow returned in Marvel Team-Up 120, published in 1982. This story, titled Old Soldiers, was again written by DeMatteis. It's explained that Hardy did indeed die in the Inferno, but how Century's alive is not. That's comics for you. Anyway, this time around, Century has invented a so-called time horn, using Hardy's scientific teachings. A device that will emit deadly sonic waves, affecting only those under 65 years of age. Century's new plan to improve upon the world is to wipe out all the young degenerates. It took the combined efforts of Spider-Man and aging superhero Dominic Fortune to foil his mad scheme. After this story, the character never really appeared again, besides a few small cameos. The character was actually killed off in Captain America 319, published in 1986. He was murdered by the Scourge of the Underworld, alongside a whole slew of other lesser-known villains. He was briefly revived by Arnim Zola in an issue of Deadpool in 1998, again alongside a whole slew of other so-called loser villains. Deadpool quickly sent him back to his grave though. The character was yet again revived in an issue of The Punisher in 2009. We only see him very briefly, but as far as I know, he didn't die again this time. So I guess he's still out there? I don't know, some Marvel expert will probably inform me in the comments. Either way, Turn of the Century hasn't been seen since then. I really like this wacky character. First off, his gimmick is really fun. A weirdo obsessed with the early 1900s who flies around on a tandem bicycle. And for some reason he has a dummy dressed up like an old-fashioned lady on the back seat. Poor Turner, I guess he couldn't find a real girlfriend. I can relate to that. That's why I have a dummy dressed up like Catwoman on my bicycle's backseat. Now his flamethrower umbrella is a bit of a penguin ripoff of course, but I still like it. It's funny, another DeMatteis creation, the White Rabbit, also wielded a weaponized umbrella. I guess the guy really has a thing for weaponized umbrellas. It's odd that he never wrote a penguin story, considering he did write the greatest Joker story of all time, and the second greatest Two-Face story of all time. Anyway, neither Century nor the White Rabbit ever became big characters, so I guess there's only room for one umbrella-wielding villain in comics. Despite being so outlandish, Turn of the Century is actually a pretty complex rogue. Should you hate him or feel sorry for him? He kills innocent people left and right, yeah, but he's not doing it for fun, he's doing what he feels is for the best. Of course, that in no way justifies his actions, and his actions are pretty damn horrific too. But then he shows such reverence for the elderly, and even goes out of his way to save them. In one scene, Century gets genuinely upset when Dominic Fortune, the elderly superhero, appears to suffer a heart attack and die during their fight. He was very conflicted about fighting Fortune in the first place, as this is one of the people he's sworn to protect. And can you really blame Turner for being what he is? It was Hardy's unnatural conditioning that turned him this way after all. Of course, you can't quite blame Hardy either, as he never intended for it to go this way. Turner is a complete loon and despicable, but also oddly compelling and even tragic at the same time. I guess that is what DeMatteis was going for. While at first glance, Turner seems like just another quirky goofball villain, upon closer inspection you realize that he is actually a very deadly threat, and one with layers too. A great character without a doubt. I highly recommend you check out his 2 stories. As for the future, I personally don't think we need to see this guy again. His 2 stories are just fine, and whenever they do bring him back, they just waste him anyway. Let Turner remain in the past, where he belongs. Anyway, as always, remember, Arkham Asylum awaits you in the next video.